Ladies and gentlemen, the CIS Minor is starting to crown its playoff contenders, and we shall possibly be doing so after one more map. AVANGAR, with a nice little bit of comeback in Inferno, have found themselves moving on to their map choice of Dust2 with now an advantage. Considering their win percentage overall, you know, Inferno could have been a shaky start for them, and it was. But they were able to regain control of it, wrestle it away from Prosto, and now have that map advantage working into Dust2, which is where I think we might watch Prosto really struggle.
A lot of teams see Dust2 as being Inferno as being a T-sided map, or has become more of a T-sided map, and that may be true, but at the same time, those T-side rounds were hard-earned on both sides. AVANGAR got a few more, and that's why they were able to close the map out and make it look somewhat convincing towards the end, but still, there was some amazing plays that made it possible. I think the team morale was brought up so much by, that 2v4 that Buster and James had. That was amazing to watch. That was really fun. And then just some crazy mid-round multi-frags from both sides, honestly, but more so from AVANGAR. Now, we're into the pistol already. CT side here for AVANGAR as we start off Dust2. And Prosto have decided to favor quite a bit of utility. Def has expelled all of his, both in the same spot. That Molotov meant to deny anybody from peeking to the top of Cat. Fitch here is actually going to be pushing through long, taking a small risk. Now, they're going to be pushed into Crizin. 3 players in B. We saw the exact same setup.
Fitch, did you not just see that man's pistol?
Oh my god. Nice.
Either way, this is a big old flood towards the A site. Crizin, like you said, good first shot, plucks one from the sky, but there's so many players there that he's swarmed, and Fitch just railed Ivan against the wall. Another headshot from Fitch. This man got a 4K in the pistol on Inferno to start off the map. Now he's dropping bombs on Dust2.
And not all kills are made equal. Pistol kills weighted more heavily than almost any other, maybe clutch kills the most, and then there's some mid-round or after-plant or post-plant kills that are so important, but pistol round kills are crazy. And they're crazy good for your morale as well. I mean, you win a pistol round, you start off the right foot, you're winning the map. Those are all very important things, I think, for your confidence. AVANGAR counting on Fitch to deliver, and he does. Really strong round from him. Now we move into round 2. There is an immediate buy-up. Kenzor has picked up an AK, and his teammates have saved quite a bit of money, so Def decided to drop him one. He just grabbed half armor for himself. Yakinder has a nade set to use as support, and they're going to go up against AVANGAR, who have only bought one SMG, just Crizin, who has the MP9. So they're probably smart playing it a little bit more safe here and not going for the 3 to 4 AK buy, or M4 buy. A lot of mid-presence here from the T's as they move from lower to upper. Oh, that is a testy smoke. One that you could almost peek in front of, but you risk being smoke blind, and you also have to wonder if someone's going to push all the way up to the corner of it. I'm sure they just threw that smoke a bit too deep, but it seems to have this unintended side effect that could actually work in the CT's favor. Mid-to-B smoke is out, and Buster spots his first opponent.
And gets busted right back. Nice little AUG spray down from Kicker to at least exchange 2 to 2, and Kenzor, well, not only getting the entry, but a efficient trade. Crizin clears the man inside of middle, so man advantage here for AVANGAR in the retake. They have the smokes and Molotovs to really get this rolling, and keep your eye on Kenzor's health, because 16 HP is not where he wants to be. Fleric resides just underneath the windowsill. So the CTs come charging straight through the door. Kenzor strikes by surprise, and now they have it back in their advantage. James gonna have to come in a little late, trying to pop into this with just the scout and a sidearm. So good thing he swaps weapons, and he does still have the kit, but Kenzor's hiding, just not giving him any chance at finding the kill. Excellent round from Kenzor, 4 frags for him.
Monster rounds. Oh my god, that was insane. That was amazing. And that 2v3, how they played that. I actually love how AVANGAR decided to go 3 through the door, because they got the information that the AUG had fallen to the back of default, and from there, that's the best position to hold window. So they decided to avoid that and get in through the door, destroy the person at car, but with that, the double peek was perfect, and Prosto handled it to perfection. I thought Jame in the 1v2 did his best. He threw a great bank flash that made it so that the AUG couldn't peek safely, and then tried to go and fight Carr, but Carr didn't peek.
Right.
So
there's nothing you can do other than charge forward, jump on the car, and, you know, really try and unroot him. So just excellent round from Kenzor. When you have such little health, you know, you can't give up even an inch. And so instead, he sprints a mile.
Wow, they steal that back. The 1 AK buy, the strong entry on a B on Buster, and now AVANGAR have had to force back, spending all their money here. They gave up a ton of good weapons last round. Tough start, tough start. But again, everything's on the line. For those of you just tuning in, Prosto lose this match, they are out of the minor.
Yep. One of 2 spots remaining in the playoff, depending on if Simon versus Gambit has come to a close. AVANGAR being sent into this match by losing to Windstrike yesterday. Prosto find themselves here by eliminating Runtime. Fitch is getting curious. He's going to start running up from catwalk because he knows the fight unfolds through the doors. Kenzor, not really worried about it right away, fixates instead towards mid, and in doing so, catches a couple of kills. As his team then follow up with an additional frag, it's a 3v1 versus Buster.
Yeah, they saw him cross left side mid, so now Buster, I think, is aware of what information he's given up, is going to be turning his attention to upper, I guess, just in case they wanted to go run face first into him, or if he thought maybe they had a lapse in vision and didn't spot him, but they definitely did. Don't seem like he'll just camp out here as the bomb gets planted, and all the T's get into comfortable positions. Pretty solid round there from Prosto. There was a lot of ways they could lose with the amount of people that were peeking the mid double doors, but they dealt with all the targets effectively. Very proficient rifle usage.
I really do appreciate the fact that we just had Kenzor keeping his eyes on mid, even though you know Fitch is peeking off of catwalk. Like, that's a real liability, but he doesn't peel his attention away because that opens a chance for the more amount of players through doors to kind of, you know, just chip away at his health.
Yeah.
He knew what his job was specifically, and he had the calmness of mind to let his teammates worry about his back.
Yeah, that's such an important thing to point out, that the difference between Pug CS and Team CS is knowing what your teammates will cover for you, what your job is, and to never try to juggle too many things. If you don't have trust in your teammates, you shouldn't be on a team. Another round here for AVANGAR, where they're not going to have a lot to work with. They forced up the last round, so they did kind of bank on winning if they could. Fitch, wow, attack through the smoke, trying to jump across mid safely. 4 players get away, and because they have the smoke to cover the cross, there is a chance that Prosto could, at the very minimum, give up a gun trying to seek out information. Let's see what Yukinder is thinking. Straight up default as a couple of long pushes has happened from AVANGAR. CTs trying their best not to make noise as they slowly evacuate the B site. There might be another few engagements to go down at mid.
Jane even comes off of the A site, so they're going to try and play for the mid doors yet again. If they let the players move up catwalk before they decide to pop, they could arguably catch a couple of these tail end kills, grab some AKs, or Jane will just blow his teammates' brains out. Whoops and yikes. Yukinder gets a couple. Buster deagles him back and wants to just try and grab his AK, but he knows he's surrounded, so he'll just keep the deagle. Hunting for a smidgen of an angle. Def's damage is substantial. Fleric flies down for the knife kill, but all that really matters is Prosto win this with only 1 player lost.
That's big. Yeah, very nice anti-eco. Economically doing fantastic. They won their eco and then followed up, or won their eco, so they saved some money there, and then they went ahead and won 2 anti-ecos cleanly. The buy-up's in. Fitch has got enough for his M4 armor, smoke flash, whatever it is. Krisen should probably pick up a kit since he's got a bit of extra money. He'll be the only person to be able to afford that. Could also get utility Wouldn't be against him doing that, but he should spend the money. That's a given. Okay, goes for the smoke flash. So we're going to try not to have a plant. There's definitely an argument against, not against needing kits in general, but because if a bomb goes down on the B site, you almost never want to retake. Pretty much, like depending on how many people got killed. And oh my God, another time, 2 rounds in a row, Aven has tagged Fitch. This time he dies on the cross, and Fitch tries to go as safely as possible. This is the life of a B player, folks. Like, this is what you have to deal with, crossing B versus intelligent operators who are just in tune with the timings.
What's fun with this is it really sets the stage for the second half as well, because you know James is one of those oppers on Dust2 that'll just constantly float towards mid doors. So if Ivan's going to give him a taste of his own medicine and start plucking off James' teammates, I am all for it. We got some nice op duels actually in the previous map on Inferno. And despite James not being towards mid doors, very dangerous peak to take as a CT opper. Ivan will just bully while he can. And they take Cat off the back of it. Despite softening up the B site, there is still 3 players for AVANGAR here on A. The terrorists erect a wall of smokes, and that enables them to get towards elbow. James not going to realize how close these players are, but luckily Kickert's able to call it. Krizen pops up from ramp, and what a murder house. Prosto just come to a grinding halt, and the only man left up is Fleric. Krizen, 3 frags in the round, and a second op picked up. 35 seconds as Fleric taps away James. And Kicker's a liability with such little health, but the time is a very real issue. Not to mention the inability to smoke off cross, so CT Spawn can keep eyes on him, and Krizen standing in no man's land with an element of surprise.
Yeah, they even go and recover the second op so James can get his off back, and that's the exact setup that you want to have versus a cat play. The only way to really threaten that is if somebody goes long, and so Fleric, the last man standing, if he had come out a bit earlier, could have threatened James. James' attention being taken away would have been big, but not only that, if he gets the kill on James, or even doesn't, there's a player on ramp who's trying to focus on his attention on the players crossing elbow to help his teammate on Goose as well. All 3 of these positions are compromised with long control, and they didn't even bother going for it. Now, 5-cat plays can work. They can be viable, but in that situation, they didn't have anybody jumping off of the site, and that would have also avoided some of the Goose damage that came about, and I think I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure why they didn't jump off, because they even threw the long smoke to try to deny the opera so that they could get into CT. But maybe that their smoke didn't go down in deep CT.
James welcoming them forward towards Cat. Blinded. Great flash. Oh, and Kenzor just destroys Krizen. He was trying to hide behind just those wicker baskets.
Oh, this is now a much better situation for Proster. They have, it's a 2-1-2 for AVANGAR, and they've lost half of their players a day.
Yeah, contrast this to the previous round, and what a completely different outcome. You can see James trying to do 2 men's job, watching long, doubling back towards Cat, and already finding a face full of AK-47. This A bomb site enveloped by Prosto. And that's most certainly their 4th round.
So that's the setup that I was assuming that they were going to take last time. Instead of having all the smokes to cross, they have this deep CT smoke and then 1 smoke so the op can't spot the players crossing the elbow. And then they jump down and then threaten James. As we can see, we had a player duck right underneath the scope.
Yeah, he's double scoped too.
Yeah.
Perfect storm here to the favor of Prosto.
So definitely a much better round. And an economically damning round as well. AVANGAR can take these guns and recycle them, but buying behind them probably won't be an option. Ball plan again strengthens that economy. Prosto's taking a last stand here on Dust2. 3 buys will come out. Kenzor got decimated, so that's tough to deal with. He was in the spot to be the insurance policy for James if they tried to rush him after he got flashed.
Yeah.
And he got pieced. So that can happen. But unfortunately, he was such a key player in that round because typically you have 3 players A, and he was one of 2 that time. Him going down for free was just a bit too much.
Ivan's not going to see the kneecap. So close. Buster doesn't realize he's dancing on the doorstep of death. But they'll instead eject to the bottom of tunnels. Good on them, because whether they realized it or not, they were about to hit up a heavily populated B site.
Attention turned back to long. It's actually a round where they got some stuff. They forced up because they're anticipating the double save, so they've managed to surmise an AUG at least. Double smokes out for long control. And we see things, this slow things down quite a bit at times. But this time it's to, I think, play with majority running up long. It's attracted the attention of the CTs, and with mid wide open, they're going to be aware of the thought and threat of a lower lurk. But they're not in great spots to stop this.
Nope. There was only 2 smokes left for Prosto as they used the wall on long. They have started this push inwards with blocking off CT, but Krizen and Kicker, that's where the kills come in, and Buster just blasts a double.
Oh my god.
The Deagle good for 2, and Prosto overwhelmed by the fact that AVANGAR rotated. Good calls there from the CTs.
Yeah, they made it quick, and I take it all back. You know, it looked like the rotate spots weren't amazing, but they made it up cat as well. I thought that the players in CT were going to be pretty much useless, and then there was going to be one. But then I saw the op at elbow, then Buster comes out with his Deagles. I was like, oh my goodness, maybe they are in pretty good spots. So solid stuff. Another tag on Fitch, the poor man. Leave him alone. Oh my god, Kicker gets hit too. Nobody's safe.
Ivan. Just picking him apart. Playing with his food. That's Kickert and Fitch tagged oh so low. That's why I never play B.
Yeah, you can convince someone to play B, convince them to do anything.
Yeah.
That really sucks. That really, really sucks. But not if you're Prosto.
No, I mean,
if you're Prosto, you're chilling. And you've even probably got confirmation on at least one of those tags.
Keep in mind as well, right? The last 4 rounds have been non-consecutive wins. Rounds going back and forth between AVANGAR and Prosto. So if Prosto could really bottom out the cash here of AVANGAR off of a round like this, where you've not even seen an opponent but softened up 2. And again, AVANGAR in this awkward setup. Like, we've seen a successful A-hold from AVANGAR, and we've seen a very unsuccessful one. The time it fell was when we saw this from James, having to dance between long and bomb site. But it's not the all-in on Cat. And Krizen actually deals with Def, who tried to drop off of Catwalk and hit the CT spawn. Buster on an off angle from box. Kenzor is just tearing straight through them. It's not his first round where he's got multi-kills and he's not stopping at all, but Fitch has the element of surprise with 25 seconds.
Oh my god, he's going to stop the bomb.
He's got the trigger discipline. He sees all 3, fires off, misses the shot, and that puts it back in the control of Prosto. James 1v2.
Going to hit the bomb. This could be a time to go for a peek. There's going to be one player alone. Oh, misses a shot, however, and the bomb gets planted.
And now does he fancy his chances? Does he want to try a second time?
Oh my god. Yeah, it's that was a prime opportunity. It gets a whole lot harder.
Oh. Valiant effort there from Fitch, but what a killer round from Kenzor.
That was insane.
That's got to now throw him up towards 12 kills, I believe.
Such beast entries, man. And Buster was in a prime position. The thing was that they had, maybe they had tried to fortify the site. I think as you tried to, I think you alluded to the fact that they're playing like they're kind of gambling on B, mid B, and 3 players towards B. They got the mid B in that situation, but it's a little strange. They're kind of fishing for it. They're going with their setup right out the round, light on A. They're anticipating that Prosto, maybe because they've watched their demos, that they like to go mid-B quite often. And they did get it there. But 2 of the players that were playing B got hit at the beginning of the round.
Yep.
They were already within 1 health of dying.
Ivan has mercy this round.
Yeah, what a nice guy.
It's just because they have pistols, you know, give him a chance. It's been pretty consistent in those wall bangs.
This push is so strong with an op. You can close out this angle. You're staying relatively far from the wall. If there's an op waiting for you on that wall, they're right up against that pillar. So you can have an advantage. James comes out for the trade.
Nicely done.
It's kind of the best way you want to use if you have like your op and a pistol.
And they're just going to try to get away from him, knowing he was the only player to survive in the previous round, assuming that AVANGAR don't have too much in terms of an A defense, but the numbers are here. They have that deep, long A control, so the car and ramp player can really fixate on the push outwards. Unfortunately for Buster, Ivan pops him first. Fitch at a distance is down, and it is just Krizen with a USP not likely. 6-3 the score.
Nice. Solid anti-eco. Once again, identify the op and avoid it like the plague. Pretty simple stuff. Money to buy. James, I think he dropped an M4. There'll also be dropped an op. And yeah, everyone's putting it together. So they've got the save just to make sure they got all their drops in order. We want to have a relatively good amount of utility. Not a terrible buy overall. It's just Kickert, who's going to be kind of low. So what do they try here? Because they've done these kind of heavy B setups, which are not also common to do, especially in successive rounds. And Prosto have bid on it once. Do they think that they're going to do it again? They might try to change it up just because they have a weaker gun in Kickert. But I feel like they put a lot of trust in James at A, and he has done a pretty good job, but I don't know. Maybe they want to use the op differently. We'll see. Early cat setup this time.
Seems so, but what do you know? Big push from Prosto immediately. James still in position, and he catches Fleric over the shoulder. Can't reset for Yakinder. Ivan's shot up from the top of Cat has allowed for Kickert to get himself onto the FAMAS and slip by.
This could be a really big flank. Does he, Kickert? I feel like he could be running here, but he's maybe thinking they have taken their time at long. I'm not sure. Oh, they're just going to save?
All right.
I feel like he snuck into a position. You know, he got to long so early. And Def there is going to hear him falling back. It would be the ultimate tragedy if he died now. The flanker has been flanked.
Ooh, and the FAMAS is there. He just wants the AWP, and he's going to fall right into the MAC-10. So quiet on his approach and so loud on the exit. It'll cost him his life. Buster's still hanging on to the M4, the sole survivor here for Prosto. What are the odds? James finally going to do something different with the op. You know, we mentioned they wanted to try something of a different setup. He throws himself into what's supposed to be the boost on Catwalk, but instead, 3 Prosto players immediately charge him and his teammate down.
And that's Prosto. They do something different as well. You know, they seem really unpredictable, like, and sometimes erratic, but in a good way. Their T side is quite dynamic in that sense. And that's good. I like the tempo changes because if you have enough tempo changes on T side, the CTs can't condition you with their utility well enough. They can't preemptively stop you from doing things that you want to try. And I feel like that's been kind of one of the shining features of Prosto's attacking sides. Now Buster here has an M4 and a couple of cronies in the back. Seems like they're going to attempt a calculated push in a B. With, again, just, it's actually just Kickert here on the ramp at A. So, Yakinder.
Kinder's got one. Knows there's more players coming at him. Tries to put down the Molotov fast enough, but James too slick, too quick. And then forced back into the gunfight he never wanted to take. Molotov on the staircase means Kenzor can kill him, and the bomb will head into A. Krizen with an element of surprise. No one's going to push him from ramp, so eventually, oh man, insta-dink with the P250. Can't follow it up fast enough, and then they just take him by numbers. Damn, Prosto, really turning this one around compared to what we saw from them earlier versus runtime.
That's where mentally, like, you start to think, is this a map that Prosto could actually win? I mean, they're well on their way at this point.
Yep.
It's not going to be, it wouldn't have been an easier map than Inferno, but somehow they're suddenly looking very sharp. AVANGAR seem to be having some problems. Their setups are super strange. They're really unique, and in times they've worked, but at the same time, Prosto have won the vast majority of rounds. They have also been able to win the right rounds and get a lot of ecos, and that's inflated the scoreline, but they don't care how at this point. They're already at that 8-round mark. And this time, yeah, James still got an op, so that's a big benefit, especially if they want to start, if they want to keep playing 1 at A. I wonder if they'll try to go for an early op pick. This is a map and a Dust2 that we've seen so little long control from, one of the rarer times. Early mid smoke goes out. Ivan will throw the Hail Mary shot down mid, not connect with anybody. Flark going to make sure that nobody can push. Get fresh at long. And all the while, Prosto have made it up for a fast cat one more time. Early cat control here.
Oh. Jame will eventually get that Molotov out. Def plays past it. Fly down from Def spotted. Kicker denied. This time Def successful in falling into spawn. Fitch, oh boy, Fitch. He gets pre-fired by Kenzor. And that pushes Buster into such an awful spot pinch from 3 directions. He's down. And on top of it all, Prosto have the most important piece of rotation. They control CT spawn.
Once again, really nice.
And once again, unique.
Yeah, once again, unique. I mean, the fast cat control, like they had presence at long for about $600 with a Molotov and a flash. And then they had the fast cat with the Xbox smoke as well. And then they had cat control at a minute 35. And then they went into a mid B really quickly. So, and then Kenzor is just a beast at entering mid B apparently. It's like his favorite thing to do. Pre-fire his Fitch up on the boost, like boosted up outside the site. And that's early into the round, so that's a very unanticipated spot, I would assume. But he's been going off 15 and 6, 102 ADR. Krizen's got 128 ADR.
Right, if there's anybody trying to keep Prosto from running around away with every round, it's him.
Holy smokes.
Not the man you always look for on the side of AVANGAR.
So that's tough. They're basically creating a situation where the B hold just has to be better. They've got 2 people there. And sometimes they have 3 and they still lose. So ultimately, I mean, your A setups can be nice. You can stop the cat presence, but your B guys have to deliver. They've just got to put up numbers. Again, not a lot of map control. Fleric takes some early damage from a well-placed CT grenade at long doors. And the upper B push has been shut down. Yukinder rifles Buster out of the server. And the options have been opened up again. This time, though, 2 players at long. This is going to be a B hit. This round is basically over. What's Prosto's move?
Cat emphasis. We've seen it before, and it seems like we'll see it again. But this time, James, he's not worried with having to watch long, because this double pick commitment from AVANGAR, that's fresh. Not something we've seen from them as of yet. More drop downs off the catwalk, though. James missing a crucial shot as Def had turned his back. Krizen emerges from pit, sure enough for 1, and Fitch has the element of surprise. But it's the bomb plant that could still very well deny AVANGAR anything else. Kicker nowhere to be found, and Fitch, well, he's just feeling out what's up. He's been spotted, so the jig is up. Oh boy, Mohan, that's 10 for Prosto, no doubt.
Yeah, what does the round look like if James hits that shot? Does he find the successive one as well? He has 2 players at long to assist him with the op. They had the A setup. I mean, what Prosto did was they opened up B, and then instead of going B, decided to run headfirst into the stack that AVANGAR felt like they were trapped in using. And I feel like AVANGAR's plan was to play with 3A. If B was lost, they'd save and move on to the next round. That didn't happen, but they still lost. I don't know. Of all the shots we've seen James hit,
that was a sitter.
Yeah, that was a sitter.
But it did look really close.
It was.
You know, it's one of those moments as well. I mean, I say it was a sitter. It really wasn't. He was so fixated on Cat. But one of the things Prosto have been doing so well to avoid these ramp CTs is falling off of catwalk so consistently.
Yeah, I mean, no, he looked at it. He anticipated it, and he tried to hit it. And the guy was taking up a lot of his screen. He really missed a shot that he probably would hit any other round. Human error.
Might not be too many more rounds here for the CT side of AVANGAR. Not many more chances for James anyways. Doesn't even have an op this time. No mid defense at all.
Yeah, they're just playing 3 inside B. And again, the value of having a mid player is that you can like free up rotations. You can make an informed decision about whether you should be stacking. Here, they're just gambling, and they like to do this. And sometimes pros don't bite, but...
Oh, good flash. Kristen takes the initiative, sprays for the second, and dodges Ivan's shot. There's so many targets to take, but he can't get back. No safety found, no sanctuary, no sir.
They trade for upper B control.
James goes through and through, skewers tunnels. And if Prosto rotate towards B now, they will have a thorn in their side, or rather an AUG in their back.
Just playing for information here. James gonna let him cross. Doesn't know if they're going, but oh my goodness.
Oh, and he's gonna hold on.
Oh, baby.
There we go. Grabs the opper, drops the bomb just as Buster stops the front. AVANGAR swarm him in tons.
Well done. Yeah, super well played. I mean, when he saw that they weren't going to clear him there, go ahead, take your time. He's got his teammates at the ready to come and flank whenever, and yeah, they handled that nicely. Love how they not only got the 2 kills from Krisen on Cat, but they're like, all right, here's an opportunity where we've got their attention, and they are down a man. Let's trade for tunnel control as well.
Oh, Ivan. He'll swap back over to the op, but
it's been a nightmare for these B players.
Why not? What's funny as well is, you know, Ivan's not that high up on the kill count, but if you take into consideration the amount of times he's tagged players, like, you know, you got to give him a bonus 3 or 4.
Oh yeah.
Like, he's definitely played into the demise of AVANGAR. Certainly at that B site. Ooh, that one within an inch of James' face. So he'll just smoke it off. He does not want second servings.
The congregation of the CTs. And this late round, late cat aggression, again. A little bit dangerous how they do this sometimes. The flash is not amazing.
Boy.
But the trades are pretty good. Both ways, however. James comes out ahead. And Kicker to kind of lock this one in, leaving Avon alone in the 1v3.
He's going to fly down into CT spawn. Up close, Kicker takes him as expected with that op falling short close proximity. But yes, trade frags up the catwalk is how the final round unfolds. AVANGAR with 5 as we would arrive at the second side of Dust2. It's not too pretty so far, but let's see if AVANGAR can turn things around, folks. This could still be the 2-0 series. We'll be back after the break.
Intel Extreme Masters is brought to you in part by Intel, Vodafone, Acer Predator, Mountain Dew Amp Game Fuel, HyperX, Bedway, and Pay Safeguard.
A hell of a showing here between AVANGAR and Prosto. We've got Krisen versus Kenzor. That's what this has felt like, Launders. 15 rounds deep and more than 15 kills for Kenzor. Krisen on the dot. I mean, hell. What a bit of a comeback here, in considering the fact that Prosto have their back against the wall. Elimination looms above. And they found themselves on a map that looked uncomfortable just this morning.
Oh, are they going to go for the boost? Oh, no, it's just a standard flash and buster. Double gushes you Kinder on Cat.
Pop, pop.
Goodbye.
All he needs to establish the 5v4. And what are Prosto going to change up in their setup to deal with this? We get the drawback from Kenzor into middle. He does have Ivan by his side, and we have Def here checking out his new shoes. Just kidding, you can't see your feet. Hanging out behind the car. He wants these players to trickle past.
Can't see your feet or your own shadow in Counter-Strike.
Man. Free physics.
Free to play.
Gun duel still unfolding here on mid. Buster serving the role of that anchor.
Oh.
Def's just going to get dinked up through the car.
Yeah, they made that car really bangable, which is great.
You can run, but you can't hide. Fitch in a very open position. But that's all right. Bomb's been chucked up and over. This kicker follows suit. Yes, sir. Gets tagged in the process, but hell, at least he's got the plant now off for AVANGAR. So 5 versus 3, and Prosto, they've just been completely culled back from mid. Oh.
Kenzor's in beast mode.
Yeah, he's playing
almost
really
4.
well. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just mad right now. If I'm AVANGAR this half, I just look for Kenzor and then avoid him. Put Krisen up front. Identify where Kenzor is playing. Avoid the site. You can't miss at the moment, except for there, just a little bit.
Just a tad.
Okay, see?
A momentary lapse in aim. So 3 survivors on each side, but what's important is AVANGAR begin with the injection of cash. Remember, they won the first pistol too, but then they were force bought upon in the round right after. So we've got the buy back up from Prosto. Let's see if they can do it again.
All right, round begins. Buys up. Def's got the Deagle, a couple of flashes. Him and Avon are the ones who are light. They're force up in the second round. They like to do this. Buster won't fall victim to the eco force up. And your Kinder. So this nice off angle onto the B tunnel to try to get information. Great opportunity here for Prosto to, if they feel like it, seek out some information. A desperate push is welcome in this situation. But at the same time, they're thinking about the fact that they're probably not going to buy next round, so it's a whole lot less fun to not buy and not have any guns saved as well. Something they might consider.
Oh, Fitch, you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. 3 CTs pushing up and above, and then a man on Cat to catch him. Oh, but he knows. He's playing this smart. Good on Fitch.
Yeah, totally aware.
Yep.
Oh, kind of. Def misses his small opportunity, and Fitch
just keeps slipping further and further away. I mean, he's being hunted efficiently by Prosto, so no shame in dying there. But obviously with the force up that we see from Prosto, with the bomb plant down, they're not going to chance on the retake. They'll just move everything they've purchased into the follow-up round so that they don't have to play with USPs.
Yeah, definitely. So it's a pretty solid round from Prosto, even though they lose. And they could have potentially saved this round and then had a full buy on the next one. The problems for them is obviously Avon's probably not going to upgrade. Flaric's not going to upgrade. You wouldn't assume since they're going to buy anyways. And it's just going to be more of a threat than anything else that they could actually straight up win the round with the 4 guns that they have. So AVANGAR take this anti-eco, get the bomb plant, Moving on to the next round, 4 alive. They retain most of their AKs. They're happy about that, or all of their AKs actually. It was just Fitch who had the MP5 who died. And they can go on to what is another kind of anti-force buy type setup. But Rush B here could be on the books. Wouldn't mind it. They could have somebody spot mid. I'm trying to figure out where James is. Okay, James, yeah, in a pretty decent spot. But 3 players cross. So it's just a lot of attention been given to B on the CT sides for both these teams. Immediately into a setup where your Kinder can take a shot, fall off, or unpeak, and peek again once somebody's flashed. AVANGAR have decided to take long control. Seems like a good idea. Anytime you can have long for free. If you ever think you can have long for free, you should always go and get it. Probably the most valuable part of the map in terms of pure map control for the T's. The options here to just threaten A, threaten so many spots in the A site from long, threaten the thought of a split through cat, or even just use a player to lurk. Can all be quite useful. 5 players now moving up. Holding shift, of course.
Keeping it quiet. Ooh, Molotov comes over from long to cat, forces the feet of Def and Flarek away from their positions. Def just has this MP5 close smoke, and as Fitch gets blown to smithereens, he takes Crizin with him. Buster retrieves bomb, so Def's jump up won't spot or stop any plant, and Fitch punishes his head with another.
Man, dude.
Spitting image mirrored Def's there. Prosto picked apart. Nikinder's is the last one up, and his scout shot fires off to no avail.
Those are fast.
Damn, Fitch. Give him a chance.
Those are really fast. Yeah, just a couple of clean headshots, the AK, and a long setup. So what's interesting is you can do like 5 long or 5 cat, and since you can throw your utility from long or from cat to the other half of the site, you don't actually need players there. So they decided to molly off short with probably a hard bounce Molotov off of long, and then they can take it, deny any rotates, get it to the site, no problem. Crizin jumps out long once again. Bombs left back a little bit, but they've gotten it so early they don't seem too scared of somebody that might have played pit. Certainly that player would have peaked at this point. Crizin can't exactly clear everything quite yet, but it seems he is fairly confident. So what happens now? Cat's always way more volatile for the CTs as well. That's why long control is awesome. Way easier for the CTs to go and get long and to hold long. On cats, you could just take nades from lower, bounce nades off the wall, eat a flash. It's much less fun to hold at times. Standard 4-1, and it looks like AVANGAR might employ the same strat that we saw last round, a walk up long, potentially a Molotov to deny the rotates, a couple of smokes here to guarantee that they can cross. Flarek will throw counter grenades of his own.
Yeah, just meant to create hesitation here versus AVANGAR. You can see Crizin anticipating maybe someone close to said smoke, but that is not the case at first. They do walk up to it. Flarek gonna play off of Goose, and sure enough, Crizin, because of the flames, gets pushed forward right into the crosshair. Bomb thrown out all in the process at a 5 versus 2. What a solid hold here from Prosto. The counter grenades really seem to make AVANGAR stutter.
Definitely.
And that hesitation comes back to cost them.
For sure. Now they do lose Buster, who tries to activate his lurk early to be useful. He gets killed immediately because the op has a great angle on the tunnel, and the rotates haven't been pulled quite yet. But then also Flarek's smoke was cool. The one he throws behind single box, that actually helps him one way a target coming up the ramp. It's a lot more threatening to see a CT throw a smoke on their own site because you wonder how they're going to use it. And there isn't a way for anybody to trade because his teammate dies to an AUG as he's crossing. So pause is called here for Prosto. So you maybe talk about what setup now they should think about. AVANGAR were able to take long control for free, had 5 alive, were able to get away with whatever execute they wanted to, and Prosto still stopped them. That's a great sign for Prosto. AVANGAR, on the other hand, are going to have to think about that. You know, they were able to get what they wanted out of the round. They still lost and didn't even come close to winning. Are they going to try to go for a long control one more time, or are they going to change it up a little bit? I would definitely be curious as to how adamant Prosto will be about kind of trying to control long, because if they keep giving it up, eventually, I'm sure, AVANGAR will figure out how to make the most of it. So what do they want to do? Well, it seems like this B spawn is pretty tantalizing. James has got knife out running here, so it's actually going to turn tail into lower. It looks like they want to try to get in front of any cap presence that the CTs might decide to use, but there isn't going to be any quite yet.
Oh, Cat so open, in fact, from both sides. Looks like AVANGAR just want to try to catch maybe an eventual long push, but that's never going to happen. Fleric commits to pit. Fitch should be cautious. Solo bomb carrier in middle. Doesn't know if there's actually anybody in towards mid doors, but of course at the moment it's clear. Prosto, outside of having that pit player, are very much committed to the bomb sites. They're getting a little curious towards Catwalk, seeing as there's been no noise as of yet, an exchange of grenades, but no damage traded for now. AVANGAR grouping up entirely within tons. If I'm a B player right now, I'm starting to sweat.
Yeah, mid to be a huge looming threat at the moment. Seems like the CTs might take this opportunity to get aggressive. I'm not quite sure yet, but it seems like they're going to go through a smoke. Kenzer waiting to strike.
He's fully blinded. He's lost Yakinder over the shoulder. Oh man, doesn't make the most of his chance. Kenzor only finding a single headshot at the time, but Def arrives already. Very swiftly put to the windowsill. Molotov moves past. He runs right in, gets a first kill, and James will take him. Good thing James is there to get the kill, because if he falls down into the bomb site, then he could possibly deny the plant. Ivan tries, but he too will tumble. Fleric looking for that tunnel control, confirms, so all of AVANGAR can now try to fixate on him. Because of the smoke grenade put down in tons, you saw AVANGAR go from 0 to 100. They were waiting for their chance to strike, and they knew it had to be then. I really think Kenzor could have lined up more bodies, but because they were all kind of offset, 5 feet between, he didn't know who to look at.
Yeah.
And only gets 1 kill.
I see it the same way, where it seemed like the setup was strong from Prosto, and because they put that smoke down right away, you think, all right, it's a huge risk for AVANGAR to come through the smoke. I'm sure it's not the situation they wanted to put themselves in whatsoever. Kenzer peaks a good time, or peaks at a good moment, but like someone ducks under his crosshair and the guy behind him is kind of offset a little bit, and he can't pick his target as properly as he'd like to. Only gets the 1 kill. We've seen him do so much more. So, you know, unfortunately for Prosto, they can't hold on to the site, but AVANGAR hit the clean entries. They did what they needed to do. And once you're in the B site, you know, that's when it's really treacherous for the CT. So James here put in an interesting spot. Thought he was going to throw away that long spawn moving too slowly, but it seems like he might actually jump out. And the flash is not great, but the op shot isn't either.
Wild as well to see AVANGAR. They hit up that B site, but they do so in also finding Kenzor first.
Oh boy, he's not in a good spot. They know he's here.
Fleric can't get the spam fight done. Fitch will drop him. Remember, Kenzor, I mean, he has leaps and bounds above the rest of his team.
Yeah.
More kills than the second and third player combined.
That's an interesting point, man. If you don't fight this guy who's on fire, then you can win without even having to kill players who are that much of a threat.
Right. And then when you go for an all-in B execute and he's one of the first players you take down, think about how that's a relief in the back of your head.
Definitely.
You know, the remaining members of Prosto haven't been able to do much throughout the first 20 rounds of this game. Why would that start now? I mean, AVANGAR, they're starting to take control back of this. I was giving props to Prosto after a 10-5 T-side, but remember, earlier today, it was Runtime's T-side that just charged straight through them. So why wouldn't AVANGAR be able to do the same?
And just as you said, like, if they check in with B and they win that round, that 1 every 5 rounds they go B, to make it so that Kenzor has to play the site, well, that is just that. He will continue to have to be there just in case.
Opening up avenues like this. Catwalk free for the taking. Def so alone and so outnumbered that he knows he shouldn't force the issue. Remember, that's the single M4 up for Prosto, so he is gone. They may try to get some exits, maybe upgrade for free, but outside of that, it's a 1-point lead.
That ain't worth a whole lot.
Not at all.
Yeah, if I'm AVANGAR at this moment, I just continuously either fake towards B, fake towards mid B, put pressure on Cat, figure out which one Cat or long is going to be the most viable each round, whether it's going to be a long setup, use a long spawn like we saw James do with the op, take a peek, see if 2 people cross. If that's the case, maybe try to go for cat control early on because it's going to be a long time before those players can come back. And then once I do that, threaten the mid to B, threaten the B tunnel to execute, and then just hit A one more time. Just continually put pressure on the least performing players, and at the same time, keep the thought in your head that you can throw in a B hit every once in a while, especially if it comes to the mid or late rounds, so that it's always in their mind that that is a threat.
Double op versus James. You have to hold your breath every time you jump those doors.
You never know. Oh boy. Not sure if James saw that target. This is his playground. Loves looking for enemies at the mid double doors.
Thing is, as well, is that player who is floating back and forth is Kenzor, not even one of the 2 oppers, but rather the most important rifler as of yet for Prosto. So if James can pluck him into the 5 versus 4, then AVANGAR ready to sink their teeth in. But this mid control is going to be in question. Prosto have no defense for it. It's going to have to be a kernel B site if this does in fact move forward.
Oh yeah, they're not even close for the retake. They've just got to rely on Kenzor to hold.
Yep, Yakindar completely blindsided. Kenzor, he's behind the car, so he's got the cover, but he doesn't have the kills. It's Fitch with the double entry, and AVANGAR hit the B site again, but from a completely different direction.
It's been a story of revenge here. This is they flip sides, and then we're kind of getting the same executes out of the other team, just like we did on Inferno. And this time it's Kenzor versus Fitch. Kenzor was getting the better of Fitch every single time he was hitting B in the first half, and now Fitch is coming through, showing off that he can entry just as well.
Yep.
The outstanding stat lines have started to settle a little bit now as the rounds pass, and the holds are not as good as the entries were.
And it's nice to see a player like Fitch kind of stepping up into his role, because one of the important roles for AVANGAR normally on Dust2 is to have James assert op dominance in mid. But from what I'm seeing, Prosto are really trying to minimize his targets, really trying to counter him, not by killing him, but rather not giving up anything themselves. So if he's not establishing man advantage, then someone else has to step up, and well, that's been Fitch on these bomb site entries. Keep it up.
Bomb parts ways with the majority, and we might have another lower default that we've been seeing. James wanted to try to capitalize on the cat pick, and there is an opportunity here. Avon has no idea what's about to hit him. No one's going to be a target for him at top mid, as James is going to share this information to Nate to let him know that his scope is spotted, and he gets killed right afterward.
If you're going to go for such an aggressive position, you should know that's visible to bottom mid. Costs him in the end, and then James has slain Def. At 11 HP, he's pinned in behind the box. Kenzor's crosshair offset, and another follow-up from Yakinder. The mid control is obliterated.
That's nasty.
AVANGAR 5v1.
That was James to do, you know, take the first kill, and even grabs a second that he probably shouldn't have, and then every bit of cavalry that came in to trade James was traded out by another player on AVANGAR. That's what friends are for.
And James survives it all in the end.
Yeah, and James lives.
You know, that's just insult to injury, salt in the wounds. Kickert has to catch up. Bomb finally goes down. But at this point, they have such total, utter map control. I wonder if they chase Fleric.
Yeah, they can. They can just take their time. Some teams don't even plan in the situation. They wait until they find their target before they go and put the bomb down. Krisen just puts him to sleep. Fleric doesn't even click his mouse.
What's really nice about this round compared to the last is in the previous, AVANGAR had mid control for completely free. So they just rushed up and took the B site, and it all went to a T. Compare it here to where Prosto actually try and throw up the defense. You know, you've got Kenzor in position. You've got the counter op of Yakinder thrown up to the catwalk, and yet it's still pieced together by AVANGAR. They go for the same setup, they meet a whole bunch of resistance, 3-4 players in the mix, and still they tear through them with what seems like relative ease.
Man, AVANGAR have a lead. It felt like Pro100 were just going to win the map.
Right.
Right. It was 10-5. It's like, wow, they were actually doing so well. And now AVANGAR just turned up. So kudos to them. It's a lead, but it's a small lead. So there's still hope for all the Pro100 fans out there. They've got a couple of HEs, upgraded pistols on this round. Will be one where they look to try to do a bit of damage if they can. If they can't, no big deal.
Once more, it seems to me like AVANGAR are looking for this mid-fight. Doesn't look as though they'll get it, though. Pro100 doubling back into what they first did, and that's kernel defense on the bomb sites. Maybe a cap push? Try to skewer that mid-attempt from AVANGAR, but from the side rather from the front? It's a slight deviation from what they've done in previous rounds, but they're just so under-equipped for the situation. You have the best setup in the world when you're playing with P250s. Oh, and that's the Molotov that forces their feet.
I feel like the extra bounce actually helped a bit.
Yeah, it did.
And maybe they wouldn't have pushed all the way if it had exploded sooner.
Gave it a bit more distance.
Oh, whoa.
Hello, Fleric.
That's a brand new round now.
3v2. Buster's head turned. No way. Launders.
Not like this.
No way. Kicker smoked off as well.
Yeah, that's pretty much the worst situation possible. Their own utility. He has a Molotov to work with, which...
Oh,
God. Okay.
such little time, though. That's one of the bigger issues. Fleric, whack-a-mole, pops up and the mole whacks back. That, my friend, was Deagle's P250s and USPs. No armor to tie this game back up at 12.
Saying if they didn't get any kills or they didn't do any damage, no big deal. But I guess winning the round was always a potential option. 12-12, and the economy has been stolen back. There's still some left in the bank for AVANGAR, but Pro100 have siphoned out a lot. However, James is not unfocused. He is fully focused. He is still completely in the zone.
Yeah, take your eco win. I'm gonna pluck you out of spawn. Potentially issue this 5v4 into the lead they had just taken. Well, there's actually two ops. Kicker's juggling guns. Throws one out.
Now we can see why James has been going to lower so many times. There's a lot of cap pushes here from Pro100, and they've made it kind of priority number one to shut that down, at least in the early rounds. Crizin, is it going to the ops? Actually the AUG, but it works almost as effectively. Not sure that James is going to fully anticipate that they've already set up with another person here, but Fleric's going to make his presence known. Initiates on Kicker and finishes the kill. And this is a round that James got that 5v4 early on. It's already 4v2 in the other direction. Buster's got a hot lurk off. These are two players that put together one of the best 2v4s that we've seen in the tournament so far.
Ivan just can't expose himself to the window sill. It's Buster will take it for free. He's going to sit outside of window, enabling the bomb to run over as quick as can be. Kenzor not quite sure which entrance to look at, so he could be caught with his crosshair off the mark. That is a very real possibility. He's got a little bit of cover, so it might be a tough job for Buster, but with the bomb arriving in time and Ivan's head
Oh
popped,
my God!
No way! Just comes right in, does it all on his own, and with 5 seconds left, Jane plants just in the nick of time. 2 versus 2, and the retake gets rolling. 2 Molotovs, or excuse me, flashbangs, is what Def is going to be playing with, and then, of course, James. James not going to let off the pedal at all. Def executed from behind. Buster is a beast.
The exact same thing happened. It was James to go and plant while he's playing on the other side of the map, having Buster work by himself to get his kills. He hits the 2 ridiculous entries. Like, it's a spitting image of that round that we saw in Inferno. And then he gets 3 kills in total. That's exactly what happened. James got the other kill.
But I mean, we've got to mention that setup. Ivan's head on a silver platter.
I know that was he. I guess from the way he saw it, he wasn't going to be exposed from like the window. I don't know.
Crucial error. However, that follow-up shot is absurd.
Ridiculous.
Kenzor,
because even if Kenzor gets that kill, James has barely enough time to run full speed to get the bomb plant.
All it would take would be Kenzor shooting him once just to slow him down. You could just let him cross over and try to plant.
Yeah.
Like if he's slowed down even a second, just 1 second, that never happens.
That's disgusting.
God. And of course, like you said, throwback to Inferno. It's these two, Buster and James, turning that synergy into a round 1 and a 1-point lead. 5 versus 4 straight out the door. It's just the similar buy to when Prosto made the upset 2 rounds ago. Wow.
Read the setup to perfection as well. Basically ended up pre-aiming the Tunnels player up on the double stack. Here's a push. We know that AVANGAR are not safe versus these ecos.
They'll lose a body, but the bomb's just going to eject elsewhere. Fitch on damage control sees at least 2. So there's only 1 with a question mark above his head. But remember that previous round. Round 25 of map 2 could just be the defining factor in Prosto's elimination. Because that's what's on the line here.
They're 100% still thinking about it.
Right?
You know?
There's no way you're not. You had the setup, you had the time on your edge, everything seemed to be in their camp. Round looked as though it was in their back pocket.
Yeah, you're going to call back to that, and it's going to cause you some sleepless nights for sure.
And it's the reset round on top of it all.
My God. They'll have to, I mean, you know, next round, I don't know. You could play for overtime if they want to. The pressure might be a lot, like, too much. That one really hurts. Unbelievable. The composure.
The composure and the calculation. I mean, James' sprint into plant was on the tee.
Yeah, it was the very best they could get away with. So here it is. The buy up. Avon's got his op. Def is going to be a little bit light, it looks like. I don't know if anybody can drop him a gun. It looks like not. He'll have a FAMAS at the very least. So it's not a terrible buy. It's not an unwinnable situation. He might be a little bit demoralized, but again, oh my God, James, I guess, you know, that's just what it's been this entire map. It's been Avon and Jane just tagging people crossing, helping for these T rounds to go through. Krisen, is he going to make his way into the smoke without being spotted? Looks like, yeah, he comes back and takes Def. No, he doesn't. Def with the FAMAS, barely scraping together enough money for the FAMAS and turns it into a frag.
Right. Frag then follows suit and finds him in the pit. So the trade frags are there as Buster grabs another Fleric. Removed as well. Ivan looks to make a proactive play. James spotted. Oh no! God. Just barely misses its mark. And dunked on. 15 rounds looming above the head of Prosto. Kenzor, all he can do is try to hold, but AVANGAR with blood in the water are sinking in their teeth. Kill after kill towards this A-site, Launders.
That's nasty. This is why we love watching them play.
Yeah. They have this switch. It's like their kill mode's been activated.
Yeah. And
they're just going to do everything they can to find these rounds one after another.
James is an absolute hitman.
It looked like Yukinder was going to grab that kill. Or excuse me, Ivan on the bomb site.
Yeah, I mean,
just crouch walking wide, sees James' head.
James was so careful, tried to bait the shot. Ivan didn't bite. And then when they both fired off, it looked like Ivan was good. But it wasn't. James tagged him and threw that nade immediately.
Tagged him and bagged him.
It's right over his head. Had no idea what was coming.
And that right there, folks, is 15 rounds. 3 map, match, and minor lifeline points to the favor of AVANGAR. We saw Kenzor come flying out of the gates here on Dust2. It looked like a one-man show, but the one-man show never gets good reviews. And they find themselves now with their back against the wall. A last tactical timeout called, and by AVANGAR. They just want to go over the game plan before they hammer this nail in the coffin.
Yeah, last-minute calculations, maybe to see what they could potentially afford. At this point in the half, they're not going to know if they have enough. There was one person with an awkward amount of money that could pick up an op, or if they'll have multiple rifles, they're probably going to guess somewhere close to what we're seeing, which is just some kind of mixed buy. Some players with the utility, some maybe 1 or 2 rifles, and for the most part, they're going to treat it like a force buy, one would assume. AVANGAR's got a pretty serious B spawn here. I don't know if they'll do anything off of it. It doesn't look like James is going to commit to running out to the tunnels quite yet. He has been so successful at doing damage through the mid-double doors. Wants to try to do it again. This time doesn't take a shot, anticipating some kind of peek. Maybe because they do anticipate an op. We don't know. And Prosto are baited into using a lot of their utility to defend against long control, which is not what AVANGAR wanted to do at all. Instead, it's a passive default. They've got a lot of utility themselves. The longer this round bleeds out, the bigger their advantage grows.
Trying to hold on to mid while they can, but a minute 15 as the utilities dwindle. 2, 3 flashbangs and a decoy is what Prosto are going to hold on to. So they're just going to go for the charge. They're going to leave it all out here in the server. And it's going to cost them. Fitch with the double kill. Look at AVANGAR try to transition into the B hit. Ivan running forward, blinded, still able to put up a bit more damage, but his 2 remaining teammates are nowhere to be found. And AVANGAR, in a 4 versus 2 B site bomb plant on Dust, are looking to finish it off. And it most certainly is. Folks, we most certainly have all 4 of our CIS playoff teams. AVANGAR looking to join Gambit, Team Spirit, and Windstrike in what will be the last 3 days of the minor, but Fleric could actually go huge. 1v4, starts it off with 2, and then finds nothing more. It is a ruse, a tantalizing attempt, but nothing more than that. One hell of a T-side comeback. Look at the round stack up for AVANGAR.
Crazy, amazing T-sides both ways, but as we can see, AVANGAR is just that much better. And another pivotal 2vx situation in the second half from AVANGAR, just completely turned the tables. For the economic reset as well. Like that's just what adds insult to injury, because they finally had their second chance back into the game. They'd been reset once earlier, and then finally it seemed like they had it in the bag, only to be told otherwise. Yeah. I mean, fantastic T-side from Prosto, 10-5 going into the second half. And we looked back at their previous game earlier today versus Runtime and said, sure, there's a question mark above that CT side. Well, the question's been asked twice, and they fell short. They failed the test, and they're going to have to go home for it. Yeah, but I think we're going to take a look at the Group A bracket to catch everybody up on what we've done so far. So today we got to watch Spirit and Simon. Spirit's 2-0ing Simon, and into the putting Spirit to qualify for the playoffs. And Simon and Gambit, excuse me, played today as well. Gambit edging them out with a 2-1 victory and moving on to playoffs for the Group A. Yeah, best of 3 is down in the lower bracket. It's where it's do or die. Of course, Group B, the one that you guys just saw unfold, AVANGAR taking the advantage. The arguable upset with Windstrike, you know, kind of catching them by surprise. It pushes them down to meet Prosto here today, and that's the matchup we just finished with a 2-0 score. Runtime, they had that first map in their back pocket. Prosto definitely had some life in them. You know, they didn't go down without some form of an effort, but effort's not enough. You need results, and the results don't favor them at all. So that's it. We have it. Our top 4 at the CIS Minor, which means that we can go ahead and sign off the CIS games for today. We'll be moving on to the European Minor for the rest of the day, and I'm excited for that one even more so. Myself and Launders will still be here on the B stream when we come back, and our first map should be X-Space Soldiers versus North with elimination on the line. Folks, there's so much Counter-Strike to get through. You're going to be glued to your screen all day long, so get comfy.